Hi, good morning, good afternoon, depending on what part of the globe you are in. So let's go into a question. Very simple question. Let's go into this one. Okay, here we go. Let's see. Hey, Mark, can you please talk more about the power of using our imagination? Okay, that's straightforward. So let's get into that. All right. So let me show you something. Whatever it is that you want to happen for you, you have to imagine in your mind that it has already happened. Listen, not that it's going to happen, not that you're very confident it will happen, not that you're very persistent it must happen, not that you expect it to happen. You must imagine it has already happened. I will repeat this. We're on a live. It's so important. That's why I repeat it. Whatever it is that you want to happen to you or for you, you have to imagine it has already happened in your mind. Not that it will happen, okay? Or you're confident it will, or you're determined, whatever. It has to already happen. That's the power of your imagination. Let me show you why this is important. Now, when you do this, when you imagine something that has already happened, let me show what happens here. This is an exercise. This is a ritual. This is a routine. This is repetition. This is subconscious language. This is subconscious programming. So this is not some like la-di-da-di. Oh, you're doing something very powerful and very opening. What you are actually doing is you are creating worlds. You are creating new realities. That's the power of your imagination. What you fail to learn in school, and I'm teaching you and opening and enlightening you guys here, is that everything comes into this reality through imagination. You are an imagination. You are imagining an existence in a three-dimensional world. Your consciousness has streamed imagination into what you perceive as physical form. And the imagination is in you when you came here. So it's like a two-way communication. Your consciousness streams the imagination to you here, and then you stream imagination internally out here. It's a open relationship. It's a two-way street. All right? So, again, the power of imagination. Every single human being has the power of using their imagination. Now, imagination comes in different forms. So let me show you this. Imagination comes in the form of visualizing it, of seeing the image in your head. Imagination also comes in the form of feeling it. Okay? Imagination also comes in the form of hearing it. Imagination also comes in the form of writing. These are imagination. They're just different paradigms of the same structure, because there's some people, some percentage of the population that can't see images in their head, but yet you still have imagination because you can feel it, you can hear it, okay, you can see it, and you can write it. Now let's go into now the details of what happens when you do this. When you do this exercise, and literally it's like 5 to 6 minutes a day, 2 to 3 minutes, 7, whatever. It's just an example. So let me ask you a question. Do you know what it means to imagine something that has already happened, not something that will happen? When you're going to use your imagination, this is very important. Do not imagine something that will happen. Imagine something that's already happened. Let me put it another way from you. You have to look at your life from within it, not from outside of it. You gotta look at your desires from a state of inside having it, not a state of outside looking or figuring or hoping or praying, okay, one day I'll get it. You have to do it that way. So how do you view something that has already happened but hasn't happened, right? That's the question. How do I view something in my mind that has already happened? Here's the answer now. Write this down. The answer is a feeling. Whenever you imagine something, it's going to have its counterpart, which is feelings. So if you imagine something in your mind that it has already happened, guess what? I got news for you. There are only a couple feelings, that universal feelings, that will alert you that your visualization is working. Here's the feelings now. These are the feelings that will tell you that you have just imagined it has already happened, not that it will. I'm going to talk about the feelings that will say it. We're going to talk about two feelings now so you can know what you're doing so you can change it. So there's a feelings for it will happen, and there's a feeling that it has already happened. Which one you want to partake of? You want to be in the feeling of it has already happened. So here's the feeling of it has already happened. Well, first let's talk about the feeling that it will happen. Here's the feeling. That's not what you want, but here's the feeling so you can know, so you won't keep doing it. The feeling of it will happen is you will get very, very, very super excited. You will get very, very fantastical. You'll be in a fantasized world. You will get very high or just low anxiety. Those are the feelings that it will happen. There's nothing wrong with feeling exciting about your thing, okay? But what I'm talking about is you get to a point where you're just super excited. Now, you can be a calm excited. That's what you need to be. All right. The best way I can put it to you is this, so you can understand what it is. Because, all right, okay, let me go into the feeling of already having it. These are the only feelings that when you get this feeling, you have completed the task. Here they are. When it feels normal, when the baseline feeling is neutral, when the baseline feeling is not too high nor too low, it's just a constant. It's a feeling of confidence, a feeling of peace, okay? A feeling of normality, a feeling of flow. It's like a feeling of joy. It's like a feeling of calmness. There is no high or low. It's a baseline. Whenever you visualize and imagine that, that's the feeling. Now let me show you why this is so powerful. Think about this. Whenever you want something, right? And after you get that thing, it becomes normal to you. You don't get up every day and say, "Oh, yes, I'm so happy I got that." No, you go and you show appreciation and say, "Oh yeah, I got that." That's the feeling. Manifesting and using your imagination, even though it seems like fantasy, you do not want to be in a fantasy world. If you're in a fantasy world, you have to get out of fantasy and get into the reality world. Because your mind can get you in a fantasy because of your ego. Your ego will say, when you're visualizing your goals and using your imagination, your ego attach fantasy to it. It is your job to go back in and say, this is not fantasy, this is normality. When you tell the ego this is normality, it takes you from fantasy, and now you're going to imagine as if it has already happened. Okay, that's another way with the feelings. Okay, the other way you can use imagination to bring things in is to, whenever you're visualizing anything in your life, you go to the end of the mission. When you're at the end, it has already happened. When you're at the beginning or the middle, it will happen. That's not going to work. So two things you must learn when it comes to using your imagination and manifesting, whatever it is. You have to see what you want at the end. You cannot go and play any games, say, "Oh, I'm the beginning, I'm walking." There's no beginning or middle. There's just end. Next thing, when you visualize something that's already happened, it feels normal. If you think about it in your everyday life, people, most of the stuff that you have right now, they are normal. You don't get up every day and wish and hope and say, "Oh, I got it." Your brain and your mind habituates to the normality of it. The power of your brain and the subconscious mind works like this. When you are imagining something that has already happened, put it to you again. When you're imagining something that has already happened, it's a different vibration that's then manifesting something that will happen. If you're manifesting something that will happen, you're going to keep on a loop where you'll never catch it. It's always going to be will happen. It's always like you're reaching for the cheese, but the thing keeps turning. you're not going to get it that way. But when you imagine something that has already happened, here's what happens when you do that. The subconscious mind now, because remember, only things happen in the present. Your mind, let's be serious about your mind. Your mind will tell you, oh, there's something bigger, there's something more out there. But even your mind is lying to you, because check this out. When your mind is telling you there's something bigger and something out there, it's telling you in the moment. So there's nothing else out there except this moment. There's nothing. There's no tomorrow. It's now. And your subconscious mind, that's why I say when you imagine something that's already happened, your subconscious mind now sees it as now. So with the now, here's what it does for you. It goes out and it uses electromagnetic energy. We call it energy vibration, but I'm just going into physics to get you more understanding. It uses magnetism and electricity, which you operate on, which you send out as frequencies, and they go into different bandwidths. Yeah, frequency and vibration. So your subconscious takes that, sends it into a field. We live in a field now. This field is of energy. In this field, even people are energy. So what your subconscious does, based on what you're imagining, your subconscious goes into the field. It sees the people that matches the frequency. It talks to them subconsciously, brings them to you to help you to achieve your goal. Okay, that's people. What about inanimate objects? Things that don't have consciousness like people. Your subconscious goes out into the field, uses the electromagnetic energy, sees that thing over there, sends the information to that thing. That thing is so easy to come to you because it has no awareness of, hey, I don't want to go. Money has no free will. Money can't say, I don't want to come, I will. It just says, that's what I want. Your subconscious orchestrates it for you, that it comes around to you, and then what your subconscious does, it comes back to you, and now it takes you and puts you to the thing so you can be in the right place at the right time to have the thing. So here's how it works. It will use the people to get you the thing. It will use the people to bring you the thing. It will use the people to be the thing, and then it will use the people again to bring the thing to you. It will also bring the thing to you without the people. It will bring you to the thing. It will give you the idea to have the thing. It will give you the idea to create the thing. It will give you the idea to manifest the thing. You see how this stuff works? So that's the imagination. So the question was, talk more about imagination. Well, imagination, guys, is the only reality that you can ever experience. You are living in an imagination world. When you go to bed at night and you dream, you're in another world. It's an imagination, but it's just as real as this world. Why is it more? Why is my dream world just as real as this world? Well, look at the bodily functions. When you're in a dream, your body reacts just like it's in a real world. What we call real world. There's no real world, but just to make sense of you. You will sweat. Your heart rate will rise. You will have fear because your subconscious cannot tell the difference between the dream or what you call the real world. That is something deep. That is a profound noticing of information. That is a profound observation that your mind cannot tell what is real from a dream. The body reacts the same. So what does that tell us about the big picture, people? It tells us that the big picture is all one big dream. It's just you're in a deeper state of the dream. When you're in a dream, it's a lighter state. When you're in the physical world, it's a deeper state. This is why it feels so real to you. But again, all is a dream. And your imagination can control the dream and then take the dream and put it onto whatever level you want the dream to come true to for you. So now do you see how this stuff works? That's the power of using your imagination. So again, in closing, to let you guys understand, use your imagination to imagine it has already happened, not that it will happen. Big difference. Most people are imagining it will happen. Now maybe you're doing it, now you can tweak it. And when you imagine it has already happened, voila. And this is an exercise, you have to repeat it daily because you got to get your subconscious to buy into it. The subconscious only can work with a pattern. Everything in the universe is pattern. If you follow a pattern, it's not gonna work for you. You have to have a routine and a pattern, okay? That's just how it works in this, because your brain works in that format. And once you do that, boom, you'll be able to achieve it at a much, much faster rate to you. All right, so I will see you again next time. Happy manifesting.